collectively bring that all together, because we can see as they come up. We probably won't have time to read them all, but like out loud, but it will be lovely just to see that.
Yes. So we have some ladies saying, "Oh, good. I'm glad that you can't see me because I just got out of the shower."
We're just coming as we are.
Today, absolutely. I'm coming as I am today. I'll tell you what. 2
Mhm.
kids home from school, cabin fever. We're coming as we are. Okay, so we've got some really beautiful intentions coming through. If you're new to the group, we just invited everybody to share some intentions.
Oh my gosh, peace and compassion for myself and the world, community healing, earth healing, connection to beautiful spirits, peace and centering. Oh, beautiful support and grounding.
Hmm.
Oh, hi, Sally, love.
Wow.
Beautiful Sally. And to de-stress in the middle of a work day.
Okay.
Oh, this is perfect.
Monica, Judy, welcome. Health and well-being. Emma, welcome. Sisterhood,
Hi, sister.
discernment. Love you too.
Oh, expanding circle.
Lucy, we have Lucy here. Hi, Lucy. Welcome.
Mm,
Oh, you're welcome,
beautiful.
Nikki. It's an honor to hold space for you and for this group. Hello, Shanti. Hello, Farron.
Mhm. Just all the beloveds. Oh.
Karen, Kristen. Thank you all for being
Mm,
here. It's such an honor
mhm,
to be with you at this time.
mm.
Jean Marie, Christina. Hi, Christina. Welcome. Doreen.
Oh, hi, Jean Marie. Oh, beautiful. Kristen, hi. Feel fear, not love. Feel love, not fear. That's beautiful, Kristen. Hi, Karen. My intention is for peace and feeling grounded, and for the healing of all people. I'm Pachamama. Beautiful.
Support. We have Equinox, honoring and celebration. Having
Mm.
space held, love for self and others. Lovely to see you, Cindy. Hi, Cindy. Welcome.
Jean Marie sitting in her garden with us. That's gorgeous.
Oh, love it.
Mm.
And everybody's joining from all over the world. So I
I
know that we have some women on here from India. We have women from all over Europe, the United States.
Yeah,
So we really are a global circle right now.
are.
Oh, beautiful. Well, thank you everybody for being here. We're going to go ahead and get started and dive in. And I just want to welcome and thank you for being here. Thank you for spending this time with us. And I want to turn it over to Amanda to start us out, to create some sacred space and intention together.
Thank you, dear sister, and welcome, sisters. Like, thank you for, because it's very easy to be like, this is what's going on, and be on that wheel of whatever energy, and instead say, no, you know what? I'm going to do the self-care that I need, and I'm going to stop. And even if this is a reset for you, or it's a reminder, or just, and we're recording this because the meditation and the prayers and everything we're going to do together, you'll have that to listen to. So we'll send it out to everybody after. So I'd love to start us all off with a lovely grounding, centering meditation. And first of all, maybe just start with a chant. Um, and so I'm going to invite everybody to just really drop into this present moment now. Just to really, and I'm really going to invite you to invite all parts of you, every single aspect of yourself, to be here with us now. Not like, oh, we have to come into meditation where we let our thoughts go off in the cloud. No, let's invite every single thought, every single part of ourselves. And so many of us play so many roles, whether it's as a teacher or a healer or a mother or a sister or a daughter, or all the different roles that we're playing. So just call in every single part of who you are back into this moment. And every beautiful part of yourself, even every stressed out part of yourself, and every thought. And this is a really safe circle here for you to allow whatever emotions come up, and fears, whatever your deepest fear is in this moment, to allow yourself to actually feel into it. Because when we really resist, an emotion or fear, like, it just persists. So when sometimes I say, this is my worst fear about what's happening right now, it kind of like takes the charge out of it and the power out of it, and it allows you to take your power back. So I'm going to invite everyone to take a beautiful, big, deep inhale and exhale. With a big sigh, just let it all go. So we're going to do 3 big, deep inhales now together. And as we inhale, we're going to draw our breath up from Pachamama, from Gaia, from Eru, from the depths of the earth. Let's take a big, deep inhale. Inhaling our breath up, up, up to the crown of our head, and then just holding your breath. And with a big exhale, let it all go. And just inviting you to be here physically, yes, emotionally, mentally, and no matter what is going on in your home, outside of your home, just allow yourself this time to really center and ground. And one of the best ways to bring yourself into the present moment for a soul is breath. So let's take another big, deep inhale. Drawing your breath up, 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 all the way to the crown of your head, and just holding your breath, holding, and together. Just letting go, letting your shoulders relax, relaxing your jaw, and just letting yourself sink into the chair, the ground, wherever you're sitting or laying in this moment. And just allowing yourself to be. And I'd love to start off with a chant, and it's just a very simple, please let me feel inner peace from my center of me. So please let me feel inner peace. And we're just going to do this 8 times together. So taking a deep inhale. Please let me feel inner peace from my center of me. Please let me feel inner peace from my center of me. Please let me feel inner peace from my center of me. Please let me feel inner peace from my center of me. Please let me feel inner peace from my center of me. Please let me feel inner peace from my center of me. One more time together. Please let me feel inner peace from my center of me. So I'm going to invite you to send that grounding cord out the base of your spine, down out through the soles of your feet, and send that cord down through the layers of wherever you are, through the foundation of your home, and allow that cord to go deep down through the layers of soil and rock and sand, whatever it needs to pass through, to go to the very heart of the earth, of Eru, of Mama Pacha, Gaia, deep, deep down. And the second that you get to the heart of the earth, there is this deep sense of, I am home. I am rooted. I know where I belong. And no matter what is going on in the world, I will keep this connection and stay grounded and centered. So feel your connection to the elements. Feel your connection to the earth that really does offer that strength and that deep sense of grounding. the rocks and the crystals that hold this ancient wisdom. Feeling your connection with the trees, the ancient trees that have their roots that go deep down into the earth. And as we are moving into the spring equinox right now, the root stays grounded and rooted and knows the importance of this. And even in these times, still reaches up towards the light, still starts to allow the blossoms to come through. Feeling the connection to the sun, that light, that light that is always there, even at times of darkness. Feeling your connection with the waters, the sacred waters throughout the world, the sea and oceans, the rain, the wells, the springs, the rivers, the lakes, and feeling that sacred connection of the water that is within you, that was in the waters. And the water has the ability to cleanse and renew and rejuvenate, and is always reminding us to allow ourselves to be in that flow. Feeling your connection with all the elements of air, of wind. So feeling your connection with nature that is always guiding us, which is always inviting us to heal and to know that you have this infinite support below you, above you, all around you. So I invite you now to call this grounding, centering energy of the earth like this golden light up from the earth, and feel it traveling all the way up from the base, the heart of the earth, and feel it entering in through the soles of your feet. Feel it entering in through the base of your spine, and like this golden liquid traveling up through every single cell in your body. Feel it traveling up through your spine, feeding your nervous system, your immune system, out around your energetic body, cleansing and healing and supporting you. Feel this energy traveling down through your arms and moving up past all your chakras from your base chakra, and knowing that you do have all that you need and that all will be okay. The abundance will be looked after. It's just the universe is communicating things with us right now, and this is a pivotal time for us to listen, to slow down, to go inwards, to connect with the earth, with our higher selves, with each other. As it moves up through the sacral, really connecting at this time with your creativity. There's space for that, with your own sensuality, your own inner goddess, priestess, moving up to your solar plexus, that area, that emotional center, and just really giving permission for yourself to feel whatever you need to feel, whatever needs to come up, and having the courage to do exactly that. Moving up to your heart and feel that golden liquid just allowing you to really fall even more deeply in love with yourself. And it's easy to do that when times and things are good and flowing, and it's when times that we need it the most to really dive deep into it is when, at a time now when things are a little unsure, a little chaotic. This is when you really go deeper, you find that reservoir within you, because it is within all of us, of strength, resilience, peace, love, light, and knowing that you belong, knowing and trusting, moving up to your throat. Or maybe you're being asked to rise up and to speak your truth in ways that you haven't before. To really step into the most authentic, beautiful version of yourself. Moving up to your third eye, that beautiful golden liquid where you really see what you need to see. You see the unseen, and that your intuition just gets to expand. And moving all the way up to the crown of your head and just feeling that connection with your higher self, a higher level of consciousness. So as we open sacred space together, we call upon our guides. And if you feel called to call upon your ancestors at this time, those that have walked the path before you, those that are calling out to you to heal lineage from the past, to create a clearer future. So surrounding us all in this beautiful white light, this beautiful white light. We've all chosen to consciously be here together now. And then this soft emerald green light of pure peace. So I'm going to invite everyone to just float your hands up to your heart center and to really connect in. Because this is the only connection that you truly need, feeling that connection with the earth, with your heart, your higher self, and your sisters. Of course, your beloveds in your life, of course. But when you come from this place, you can handle whatever comes your way. So taking a deep inhale and exhale. Reading all of your beautiful intentions. I invite you now to repeat your own intentions for what you would like to experience at this time. Because what we don't need is more fear. We want to be honest about our fears, but we want to be able to express them so they have no more power. And then we want to be clear on what our intention is. What is it we're supposed to learn in this moment? What is it we're supposed to hear? How are we supposed to move forward from here? So how can you make space to ask yourself, to ask Spirit these questions? So taking another deep inhale and exhale. Now, whenever you're ready, I'm going to invite you, beloveds, to open your eyes. And over to the beautiful Laura.
Thank you, Amanda.
Thank you, love.
That was so beautiful. Well, I want to acknowledge that there are people on this call from all over the world, from many different locations, going through many different phases of what we're experiencing in the world, right? Some of you are in Europe, some of you are in Canada, some of you are in New York City, some of you are here in California. We just have the full spectrum all over the world. And that we're all dealing with different levels of what's happening in the world, but we're all very likely dealing with it, right? At some level. And, you know, once a century, maybe even sometimes less, the world is given this very unique, powerful and potent opportunity to have the choice to unite and come together or to be divisive. And we're seeing that now, right? We're seeing that we actually have that choice to come together in this time and to lead from love, or to, as Amanda spoke to in her opening prayer, and that so many of you shared in your intentions, wanting to lead from love and not from fear. And fear is what divides us. Fear is what creates a sense of us versus them. It's whose fault, these people aren't doing it right. There's not enough. Fear is that voice. And so on the spring equinox today, because that is what today is the day where the seasons are changing into this season of rebirth, which is, it feels maybe a little bit different than the energy of what we're in right now. I mentioned that in the email that went out, that it feels like, wait a second, we're actually being asked to go inward more, like the winter solstice right now. We're being asked to go more inward, spend more time perhaps in hibernation and within the four walls of our home, depending on what the restrictions are where you live, right? For some people, you're on lockdown and you can barely even leave your house. And for some people, you're still able to go out in nature and still be out in your community. It just depends on where you are. But collectively, we're being asked to go more within. And we are now in the cycle of the year in the northern hemisphere, right? Some of you may be in the southern hemisphere, but in the northern hemisphere, in the season of spring, is when life starts to come alive again. And the symbology of the spring equinox is a season of hope, where life comes back, where the sprouts are starting, where the seeds that we planted are starting to put their shoots out and turn into flowers and turn into the beautiful fruits and vegetables that we plan to harvest as it becomes more in the spring and the summer. And so even though we're being asked to go a little bit more inward in this time, I want us to draw upon that hope that the spring equinox brings us. And that promise of rebirth, that is what the spring equinox represents. And that though we are being asked to go within to this time right now and be more inward, to look more at ourselves, as Amanda spoke to, this incredible opportunity that we have to look at ourselves, to look at our systems, to look at the world, to look at our communication, our relationships, like it's all being highlighted. There's an opportunity where it's all being highlighted right now. And what a beautiful opportunity that is. And I also want to acknowledge that for many people on the planet right now, there's a lot of struggle and there's a lot of suffering and there's a lot of fear and there's a lot of concern about how am I going to make it? What about my job? How am I going to pay rent, right? All of these things that come up in a situation like this as well. And so if we can root into that energy of the spring equinox, which is the energy of hope, it is the energy of the promise of new life. And even in the times where we feel like this winter has just gone on long enough, to remember that essence too, that the winter will not be forever, that the spring equinox brings us the energy of hope and trust and faith in this divine order. And also, one of the things we're going to talk about that Amanda's going to go into and we're going to offer is some practices for how to actually get through this and stay healthy in body, mind, and spirit. And one of those practices is really acknowledging what we're feeling. And so I invited you to bring a pen and a paper if you wanted to. This is not something you have to write down, but if you'd like to, you can. Otherwise, you can just let it be a mental exercise and even a meditation or a visualization. And as we're in this time of feeling all that we're feeling, I'm so in alignment with what Amanda shared, that we're not inviting the fear to take over us, but if we don't acknowledge what we're feeling, it has so much more power. And it can be like, I always like to use the analogy of like the monster in the closet. We think there's a monster in the closet. The children are terrified. There's a monster in the closet, and then you open the door and there's nothing there, right? And it's until the door is open and we acknowledge what we're feeling and let it be and realize that what you're feeling and what you're experiencing individually is also deeply connected to a collective feeling. And it's not only your own. So how do we root into our own feelings and root into our own center and chant that song that we heard at the beginning of this circle? Let me be in inner peace from my center to the center of me, right? And stay connected to our own center, acknowledging that when you start to feel a lot of emotion or energy or fear, I've in my clients and so many people I'm working with, People are having full-on panic attacks right now because they're feeling the energy of the whole planet, not just your own circumstances. And so acknowledging that what you're feeling is your own feelings, and it's also connected to, we are so connected. We are so interconnected on this planet. We are one consciousness, as well as our own individual experiences. Now that sets us up for a lot of joy and pleasure, and also can set us up to feel a lot of fear when the world is panicking, right? So acknowledging that your fear and what you're sensing is your own experience, and it is also connected to the collective. And the beautiful side of that is the more we also inspire hope and connection and community, we collectively feel that too. And so let today be a part of that essence that's being spread on the planet right now. So many people coming together virtually to love and support one another, to share our fears, our concerns, as well as the light and the hope that's possible in times like this. And I just want to read you a couple of lines of something that I've shared in a lot of my courses and circles, because it's so pertinent to our times and so incredibly pertinent to today, right now. And it's from Dr. Clarissa Pinkola Estes, who wrote the piece, "We Were Made for These Times." And when we send out the email follow-up for this, I'll make sure that I put a link to this full reading for you. So just a little piece of this is that she says, "My friends, do not lose heart. We were made for these times. We were made for these times," okay? We are needed, and that is all we can know. Ours is not the task of fixing the entire world at once, but of stretching out to mend the part of the world that is within our reach. Any small, calm thing one soul can do to help another soul, that is enough, okay? That is enough. So holding on to that idea that we were made for these times, this community of women, this rising feminine heart on the planet right now has been preparing and training and doing yoga and meditating and preparing for this exact scenario and moment. Though we didn't expect it or even see it coming out of left field, we are prepared. We are prepared, and we can do this. And the inner work and the honoring and acknowledging of our feelings and how we're experiencing it is such a big part of it. So with that said, and with your journal and with your pen, I want to invite you to use a little metaphor right now. While we're in the spring equinox, what we're going to kind of do here is we're going to blend a little bit of our winter solstice and spring equinox tradition, because let's face it, we're in a very strange blend of the two of them right now. And I want to invite you to, I'm going to use a garden analogy today, because my family and I are really gearing up to have gardening be our #1 focus right now, and growing our own food. It's a very good time for that. And so I'm sure you're aware of what a compost pile is, right? What a compost is. Compost is where we put old food or dry leaves or anything that would be considered waste in a lot of places, and we turn it into gold, really, and fertilizer, and something that is able to fertilize our garden to be able to grow and tend to the nutrients and grow vegetables and fruits and flowers. So it's the compost, this breaking down of materials that would otherwise be, tossed away, that it turns into something really beautiful and magical for the garden that you're growing. And so what I would like to invite us to do is to first take a moment to acknowledge exactly what you've been feeling, to place a hand on your heart, like you did in the beginning of our meditation today, to place a hand on your heart and giving yourself just full permission to say, I am feeling, I have been feeling, my body has been feeling, and to take a moment to maybe roll your shoulders. And as you're acknowledging what you're feeling, let your body do a little bit of moving that's going to allow you to move some of that energy, right? And not to assume that everyone is in stress or everyone is feeling fear, but whatever you're feeling, I've been feeling joy, I've been feeling opportunity, possibility, I've been feeling anxious, okay? Just noticing what you're feeling and first acknowledging that. And if you want to write that down, you can. If you want to write those words down, you can. And if there's anything that's been feeling debilitating or challenging for you, then just taking a moment to acknowledge that, to acknowledge what has been real for you, and that be permission and okay. Because when we do that, when we just hold that, hold ourselves with this compassionate, loving, unconditional energy, we're allowed to move through it versus just stay stuck in it. So imagine this vortex right now that Amanda and I are holding, and that the other hundreds of women that are around the planet right now are holding for you, okay? Gutted, I see, sad, anxious, worried, isolated. Positive energy and loving thoughts, okay? So this is some of the words that are coming through. And you're welcome to put any words you want into the chat box. Possibility is what another person is saying. Healing, uncertainty. Please keep them coming. Alone. Fearful. Opportunity. Productive. Surprised. Enslaved. Interconnectedness. Fatigued. Sad yet grateful and abundant. Positive possibilities for a new world dynamic. Inadequacy. Interruption of my life. Peace. Trying to be optimistic. Peaceful and centered. Aligned, uncertain, expansive. All the full spectrum, women. The full spectrum, my sisters, like it is allowed, because there has never been an experience like this that we have ever gone through before together, right? So the full spectrum. So just letting those words come to you of what you've been feeling. And what I noticed in myself is that just like the words that are coming through here, it's the full spectrum, right? It's the full spectrum. And that can be confusing sometimes. Like, wait a second, maybe I'm supposed to be scared. Should I be hopeful? Should I be joyful? Should I be terrified? It's all of it. We feel it all in these times, in unprecedented times where there's nothing to compare it to. Inspired, scared, sad, hopeful, awakened. Old patterns are being obliterated and new patterns are being formed. That's what someone said. Deep sadness, volcanic pulsing, brewing in my heart. Guilty for traveling, okay? Feeling guilty, right? Has anyone felt guilty throughout this process? Positive changed. Stuck and yet moving forward. Connectedness. I want to feel less afraid. Looking forward to the positive and the calm after the storm. Fear, anxiety, peace, calm, confusion, hope. The full spectrum. Here we are. So just let's imagine that we're putting all of these words into our beautiful compost pile, okay? Now I know from trying to master compost, it is not easy for me because I'm just learning. I know some of you are probably very good at this, okay? But compost is filled with all sorts of stuff. Yucky stuff, beautiful stuff, fresh fruit, old rotting things. It all comes together and it makes gold. It makes fertilizer. It's magical. They call it black gold when it finally breaks down and nature is allowed to just do its work and decompose and use the heat, the natural heat that gets created. It's all a natural process. And we're going to throw in pushed to my limits. We're going to throw in trust and deep compassion. We're going to throw in space for more interconnectedness. We're going to throw in fear. We're going to throw in feeling isolated. We're going to throw into the compost all of it and just watch it move into this pile of this process that Mother Earth, that nature is going to take over. And imagine your own feelings being held there and being useful, right? Every single component of it is useful. Curious, surrendered. All these energies together, okay, are going into our compost pile. And let's just take a moment to imagine what decomposing is going to happen. And I really want to decipher that from being thrown away, because that's a very different energy. I'm not getting rid of my fear. I am putting it into the compost to allow it to be transmuted into something beautiful. Okay, I'm not getting rid of parts of myself and saying that shouldn't be allowed. And in a time when we're in more isolation, you're going to see parts of yourself that you may think, I want to get rid of this part. I don't like this part. I'm not happy with this part. Okay, I'm going to invite you to allow that to be transmuted also. That idea of, I'm going to slice this away and get rid of it, into how can I compost this into something beautiful, right? Not getting rid of any part of yourself, but allowing it to be, expand, compost, decompose into this fertilizer that we are collectively honing in on and honoring, so that we can sprinkle all over this planet right now, because it is so needed, right? It is so needed. So as this decomposition happens, and the transformation and transmutation, which we don't know what it's going to look like, we don't know what it's all going to look like, but what we do know is the intentions and the desires that we are having here, and that's what the spring equinox honors. The spring equinox honors that rebirth and that looking ahead to what's possible. And I want to invite you to, now that you've acknowledged what you've been feeling, to then think about, as you're planting your garden and your seeds and they're starting to blossom and flourish, and we can bring that compost over to actually nourish the soil for that to be possible. What are the intentions and visions and rebirth that you are holding as possible in this time? Some of it might seem impossible right now, and that's what a leader does. That's what a visionary does. And I'm going to invite all of you on this call to step into being a visionary with me right now, because you can do it. We can do it. No matter where you are on the spectrum, I'm going to invite you to actually hold that vision in yourself for what you see as possible. I see us uniting with love and compassion. I see. Okay, I'm seeing some words coming through. What are the intentions of what you want to plant in that soil and fertilize with our compost, and bring all of what we've been holding and feeling inside of ourselves? Okay, and any words that you want to plant here, that you want to put here: love, living harmoniously, love, 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 okay? Generatively with our planet Earth, thriving. Understanding the strength of the lion's roar, yes. Light of hope in the world, compassion for all, kindness, greater service. I'm going to throw in more interconnectedness than we've actually ever seen before. More compassion for each other than we've ever seen before. Greater service, unity, shining our light to everyone in this situation. There's never been something that's so universally affected all of us, right? Curiosity, living in balance with Mother Earth, transformation for the planet, awakening. Thank you, sisters. Keep them coming, and keep your vision strong. Keep your hope strong. That's what we are drawing right now from Mother Nature, from the earth, is her promise of hope. Faith and trust, serving the people, leaning into aloneness, simplicity, generosity, understanding, honoring the oneness of the world, visibility, to serve, vitality, global community. There's so many coming through, I can't read them all. I love this. And all of these: global peace, forgiveness, rise of the divine feminine. Yes, we have been preparing to be here at this time right now. Truth, integrity, aligned with loving kindness, patience. More gratitude for what we take for granted: ascension, awareness, transcendence, compassion, awareness, allowing, and loving. And so much more. I'm sure we could be here for hours sharing this. So thank you, thank you, thank you for putting your words here. New growth, expanding roots, expanding blossoms. And I want you to imagine closing your eyes for a moment. And if you haven't already written down some of these words for yourself, then let this be a journaling exercise you can do once we complete. But that you actually see all of these seeds that we're planting collectively for our planet, and we're fertilizing it with what we're actually feeling, with the anger and the fear and all of these emotions that are valid and worthy and deserve to be felt and expressed. And they're going into the compost, they're fertilizing this beautiful garden and all the seeds that we've just planted, this hope for this spring. And we're seeing them grow and blossom and flourish, and seeing a world that will rise, that will be reborn from a time of winter, from a time of loss and tragedy where many are suffering. Let's imagine collectively that we are sending some of this energy to all those who are suffering, including yourself. Especially start with yourself, and expand that prayer and hope to people everywhere. Let them be a part of this garden that we're planting. We plant it for ourselves, in our own family, our own four walls, and let it expand far beyond to all those in the world. And may we see going up the chain from every single individual who might be experiencing fear or worry or concern about their well-being, about whether they're going to be able to make their payments and rent and all of these very real concerns that people have on the planet. And let's see that person right above them who receives the payment also having compassion, and the person above them having compassion, and the person above them having compassion, so that every link in the chain has understanding for those below them and for each circumstance. May there be compassion and understanding in every step of this process, and something that is so universally felt right now. So thank you all for that, taking the time to do this exercise with me. And I want to invite you to keep going with it and come back to it anytime you need to, anytime you feel what you're feeling, to take some time to allow yourself to feel it. I'm going to offer, and when Amanda goes into some practices, I'm actually going to offer in our emotional practices a suggestion. And so I'll get to that when we get to that part of suggested practices. And join with me in planting the seeds of your vision for what's possible. So thank you, thank you, thank you. I love you all. Sending you waterfalls of love and peace and trust. And we're going to move on to a more practical section here of what are some practices that we can bring into play right now in the energy of the spring equinox. And Amanda, I'm going to.
Thank you, Laura. Love, that was so beautiful. And thank you to just all these amazing, amazing, amazing women, goddesses, priestesses that are here together. Like, if there's ever a time that we've been called to walk our path, is now, like, to rise up. And we've all been preparing for a long, long, long time, actually probably lifetimes, but as I know all of you beloveds on this call, especially in this lifetime. So I really did want to go over, Laura, myself wanted to offer some really practical, like, we hope that you will be able to listen to this again, this recording, and enjoy the meditation and these words of all your sisters coming through. And then also just, really practical things that we can bring into our life at this time, physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually. And, we might have these little different compartments, physical, mental, but I mean, they're all interconnected. But I'd like to address really the physical, but this is emotional, mental, and spiritual all at one. So depending where in the world you are, and what life looks like right now for all of us, right? It's like, wow, we're all in this together, I've been going through a number of my own kind of dark night of the soul, my own Samhain winter solstice this year. And now it's like, wow, we're all in this path together. And I think one of the most important questions that you can ask yourself, because I know, like, if you're in a place where you're needing to stay in, and feeling a little lonely or isolated, or whatever it is, you're home and the kids are at home and there's a lot of overwhelm, whatever is going on in your life at the moment, you have to be able to ask yourself, what is it that I need at this time? What do I need? And to really be able to listen to yourself. Like, and if you notice anxiety come up and it's taking over, it's like, how can I be more compassionate with myself? Like, what is it I actually need in this moment? So it could be as simple as a bath, right? So let's say you're able usually to do X, Y, and Z, go to yoga studios, a spa, whatever. That needs to be created in your own home right now. And what a beautiful opportunity in some ways. Like, run the bath. We're so blessed to have water. If you've got some bath salts, put in there. If you've got some essential oils to put in there, like create your own spa, light your own candles, like what does I need at this time? Because there's a lot coming up for everybody. And so when we really ask ourselves those questions, is it that I need to be able to express what I'm feeling emotionally or mentally? What is it I really need? Because, rather than turning to some numbing things that we could be like, whether it's overeating, alcohol, drugs, shopping online, because that can still happen, whatever those things are, it's like, actually, what is it I really need at this moment? And is it maybe just to feel what I need to feel? And like we said, if we resist something, it persists and it can take over, and it is disempowering. So when we just go, this is what I'm scared of, this is my worst fear here, it's gone, it's released, and like Laura said, the closet door is opened and the monster isn't in there. But I think sometimes to be able to admit our biggest fear around something disempowers it, and it in return empowers us. And it's really about accepting all parts of ourselves, like, whether it's the guilt, fear, shame, pain, lack of forgiveness, anger, whatever it is, like allowing every emotion to have its voice, And so this is where journaling comes in. This is where writing the unsent letters comes in, whatever it is you need to do to find your own inner peace is really, really vital. So for me, and I'm very blessed where I live in the world, it's nature all the way. And usually every day I try to get myself out in the forests or the beach or the mountains. And now it's just like, well, myself and the kids are, and I can go to a place in nature where there isn't anybody, but where can you go to connect with nature? And allow nature to be your healer. Allow it to be, I mean, it's the way I live life is, the Celtic wheel. Every 6 weeks, we look to nature. And what is nature teaching us? What is nature inviting us to do? So, depending on where you are in the world, and most of us here are moving into our spring equinox, right? So, it's still depending where you are in the world, there could be still snow, it could be still cold. So there is a little bit of that winter solstice, and we can be in summer having our own winter solstice, right? And all of us are really in this winter solstice. We're being asked to reflect, to go inwards, to allow whatever needs to heal, because whatever it is that's going on collectively, it's been magnified. It's that mirror outside of us. So what is it within us that's asking to be healed? And we'll get these answers through journaling, through our writing, through our creativity, through our art, through allowing ourselves to feel. And if you can get yourself out in nature, have a look at what is blossoming right now. Are the nettles coming up, the nettles that nourish us, and the nettles that teach us oh so beautifully about creating boundaries. Nettles are some of the most magnificent healing, like it cleanses our blood, our kidneys, everything. And yet they've little spikes all over them, and they're just like, I'm a powerful healer and I have really clear boundaries. And perhaps this is a time where, you need to speak your truth more. You need to be really clear on your boundaries and allowing nature to be the healer. So if you can get out and if you've got trees around you that you can go to, like there's such a beautiful ancient practice called tree whispering over here. And you can just go to the tree and fill it with love and give it gratitude, and also tell it your worries, tell it your concerns. And as we know with the trees, they go straight down into the earth, right? And then it's up into the light. So they don't hold the energy. You don't have to worry about the tree taking in that energy. It just moves straight through the tree. So you can tell the tree your concerns. You can, whatever the anxiety, just let it go, whisper it into the tree, speak it into the tree, hug, wrap your body, your arms around the tree, allow your chakra system to align with the tree, and then turn around, sit up against the tree, sit with the tree, feel the roots of the tree and your roots going deep into the earth. Like allow yourself to be completely at one with nature. Like there's this other beautiful ancient technique in Ireland called wailing. And it's not so much chanting or singing, but just whatever sounds need to come out. And you can do this in nature, you can do this in your own home, depending, what your life looks like now. Make space for this, and, you know, if you're concerned, like, oh, I'm not eating as well as I'd like to be, and I'm worried about, just even if it feels like it's not important, but it is important, like putting on weight and not being able to exercise. So it's like, how can you kind of recreate for yourself right now? I tried to get up before the kids and do a little bit of yoga, or you can do yoga with them if your kids are at home. Um, you can find things on the internet now that you can dance with, or do your own, like just turn off the lights or open the the windows and dance inside, outside. Find whatever it is that you need physically, emotionally, or mentally. Like, music is powerful for raising your vibration. Dancing, just moving our body, it helps us not get stuck, right? So put on the music, just start to dance around. um I love what Laura's talking about with your garden. Like, if you've got a garden, I mean, it's a spring equinox. Plant a little plant, plant a vegetable garden, start to compost, get your hands in the soil. Any of this connection with nature is going to be healing. And in some ways, that primal instinct that is being attacked on some levels right now, like, will I have enough food? What's going to happen in the world? Like, that really feels like it allows us to feel more safe. Like, I'm creating food for myself. Like, I'm living closer to the earth, more in harmony with the earth. Even for me, a lot of the time I just say, what is it I really need right now? And sometimes, and this is really Irish what I'm going to come out with, but it's just a cup of tea, whether it's a chamomile or a tranquility tea or just something that's really soothing. Maybe you have a rescue remedy, your essential oils, like, pull out the tools, whatever it is that you need. And then, of course, meditation. It's so easy to meditate and do yoga when all is well in the world, but now is the time that you're really being called upon to use your spiritual tools. All those wonderful tools you got in your tool belt, they aren't just there for the fun of it. Like, you have been preparing for now. So make the time for the meditation. If you're like, well, the kids are at home or whatever's happening with work or not happening in those areas, make the time, because after you do it, even if it's just 5 minutes, how much better you feel. It's like stress and anxiety gets stuck in the spine and we start to feel stiff. So even if you just get down on the floor and do cat to cow and move, or just feel into your body, what kind of movement does it want? Like, honor that. When it comes to emotions, we've been chatting about that, but, like, again, you put your hand in your heart, like, what do I need right now? And then it's like, what does my inner child need right now? Like telling her that she needs to feel safe. Maybe you have a picture of yourself, whatever age you really tune into. It could be your present self, it could be your 5-year old, your 20-year old, like, that really needs to feel safe. So emotionally, like, have a circle like we're on right now, a friend that you can call. Like, don't allow yourself to feel lonely alone. Like, and the other thing, when it comes to our emotions, our well-being, our mental, like, be mindful with the amount of social media or media in general, because we all know that there's so much happening out there right now, and there's a lot of contradictory information. So I think it's really important to be well informed, and I think at the same time, you don't want to get caught up on, like, you need to know, okay, these are A, B, and C, D that I need to know right now. And this is actually where I could offer my support, but not getting caught up, because again, that can really lead to a lot of anxiety. And then last of all, when it comes to mental well-being and everything, I just want to ask you, is there any unnecessary pressures that you're putting on yourself right now? Things that you could just let go of? Like, to be completely transparent, I'm mom here. I've got 2 kids at home, running a business, and it's all, yes, bliss, but it's all a lot. So, I always look at that pie chart, and there's like, you know, family and, work, and, which all are really joy anyway for me. And then there's like housework, and you know what? My house is a bit of a mess right now, and I'm the feng shui lady, right? So it's like, well, I'll look after that in a couple of days. That is not on my scale of importance. I don't care if there's a huge big pile of laundry, and I look at it and I kind of laugh at it, or maybe you raise your voice where you wish you hadn't. or whatever that is. It's like, where do you need to give yourself more compassion? What pressures are you putting on yourself that you can just go, forget it. Like, I I don't need to be worrying about it. I'm going to like take that off my plate. Or, what support do you need at this time? Whether it's, there's a counselor, a therapist, reach out to a sister, a coach, but making sure that you have the emotional and mental support that you need right now. That is really, really important. And it's about being vulnerable and being really truly vulnerable. And that is such a sign of power, and it really is a vital part of your work as a goddess, as a priestess, to be like, this is what I need right now, and this is where I'm at, and connecting with somebody or your sisters on a heart level. And when you show up that authentic, it gives them permission to do the same. So I really hope there's some practical things that you can get from our time together here today that you can just bring into your day-to-day life to bring as much peace, inner peace, because as we know, it starts in here, the inner peace, then that radiates out into our family, out into our home, out into our villages, out into the country, out into the world. And that's what's needed right now. So love you all so, so much. And I'm so, so grateful for being here together. So beautiful, Laura, I'm going to come over to you, back to you here now.
Thank you. Those are all amazing practical tools. And I'm just going to expand on one of them because I feel like, when I spoke specifically to trusting your feelings and letting them come up, to be able to have a way to express and honor them is really everything. What I don't know if anybody has an opportunity to watch much of the Mr. Rogers stuff that's come out lately, his documentary, right, and then the Tom Hanks movie where he portrays him, and what was so magical about Mr. Rogers was that he educated children on how to feel their feelings and how to name them and how to be okay with them. And if you really need any inner child love and support over these next couple of months, I highly recommend you go watch Mr. Rogers. That's one practical tool I'm going to offer. It really speaks right to the safety of an inner child's feelings, right? Like that your feelings are valid, and sometimes they're really hard, and sometimes they're really crazy, and sometimes you may not feel like you're allowed to have those. And Mr. Rogers was a genius at helping children know that it's okay to bang on a piano. It's okay to hit a pillow. Like, he gave children these highly sophisticated tools at a very young age to know. And he also spoke to world catastrophes and global issues as they were happening. And so Mr. Rogers was a genius, and I encourage you to check him out if you have a chance, and how wonderful he did, what a wonderful job he did at helping to tend to your inner child and to feel your feelings. And with that, I'll tell you, my family, we're all big feelers. We're all very sensitive. We all are very loud. Well, okay, they're loud. I'm not so loud, but they're very loud. My husband, my children, we are big feelers. And, that's not wrong. That's okay. We're all very sensitive. My children have been cooped up. San Diego is a beautiful place, but it has been raining a lot right when we decided to start self-quarantining. All of us trapped in a house. It's been crazy. It's been crazy. And our family practices something called a feeling room. We have a room that we allow myself, my husband, my children to go if we are feeling like I need to go take care of myself right now. I need to go tend to myself right now. And we have pillows in there. We have a bat. We have cushions. We have loud music. We have tissues in case we need to cry. We have everything. And it's a place where we can just feel what we're feeling. We'll put on music, we'll dance, we'll put on a song that might make you cry, move your body, hit a pillow, wailing. I loved that, Amanda, because wailing is a way to move energy. And if you don't know what wailing is, just go for it. Just try it. Anything, a sound that wants to come out of your body. That's energy in your body. I love that analogy I heard, that emotion is energy in motion. Emotion is energy in motion. But what we usually do is we trap it inside. We stick it in there, we shove it down, we don't let it out, and it just needs to move. The fear, the overwhelm, all of it just needs to move. Excuse me for just 1 second.
Hi, lovies. Oh, she's back. Hi, love.
Speaking of, I was hearing screaming children in the background.
I was about to say, I'll pop back in here. I know, I understand.
So we're going to wrap this up in just a minute. So just having a place where it's okay to feel your feelings. It can be your bathroom, honestly. And a pillow is the most wonderful tool because you can't hear. You scream into a pillow, no one can hear you. It doesn't matter if you live in an apartment or you're in a car, no one can hear you. You can scream into a pillow, move the energy, move the fear, wail, cry. Take care of yourself. Your feelings are valid, they're worthy, and they deserve to move. It's energy and motion. And on the other side of that is so much more freedom and spaciousness to feel the authentic peace, to feel the authentic hope, right? Not just jumping to that, right? Bypassing the feelings that we feel. And so I'm just going to encourage you over the next, we don't know how long this is going to last. This may be a few weeks. This may be a couple of months. We don't know. But your mental, emotional, spiritual health is of vital importance through this. And staying connected to yourself, to your own feelings, letting them move, and having a place in your space that it could be a corner. That's my feeling space, right? That's where I get to go and feel my feelings. And you'll know when they come up because it'll be intense. You might snap at somebody. You might yell at your kids. I did that yesterday, was not proud of myself. I had a big yell and I said, oh boy, okay, yep, I gotta go to my feeling space. And I went and yelled in the pillow and I got some energy out and I came back to my kids with more space for them, right? I had the space to actually deal with what they were feeling because children are little mirrors. They're little mirrors that reflect everything we're feeling, and they also are little sponges that feel the energy of the world. Like they can feel what's going on right now. They can hear the conversations. They can hear the news in the background. They can feel collectively what's happening. And they're probably bouncing off the walls. At least mine were. So I just want to acknowledge that we can actually give children also these same tools. They're not too young, as Mr. Rogers taught, to go bang on a piano or hit a pillow. And we can do the same thing for ourselves and for them so that we can really move through to this authentic hope and trust and really know how to actually feel that part, the planting the seeds and inspiring the hope, like to be there authentically and to allow yourself to clear and move anything that gets in the way of that. That's our priestessing job right now as goddesses on the planet, is to compost and transmute anything which is not serving that hope that we can hold for ourselves and for the world. Okay, so go get yourself a pillow, a bat if you have one, a journal, all those things that Amanda recommended, and really honoring those feelings that are there so we can hold the faith, keep the trust. So I'm going to bring us into closing. Amanda, is there anything else that you wanted to add before I go into closing?
I think that was beautiful, just closing our sacred space. And I just want to give deep, deep gratitude for you, Laura, and all these beautiful, magnificent women, goddesses, priestesses that are here together today. And I'm so grateful. And Laura and I plan to hold regular circles here for this time space for all of us. And we'll be announcing more about that. We'll send it out in our newsletters, right?
Yes, we are. This is something that, they're going to be imperfect. We may have screaming children in the background. My kids might be right here next to me during some of these circles because that's what is right now. But we want to do this, and we want to provide this space to come together and to support each other. And thank you, Amanda, so much for your beautiful light and love. And it's such an honor to do this together with you. And to all of the women who joined us, I'm going to invite us all to close our eyes for a moment and to really visualize these seeds of intentions that we have all set, these beautiful words that hundreds of you put into the chat box. So 100 messages came through when I asked, and the same thing when I asked, what are you feeling? You were all so vulnerable and real and told the truth. And I want you to just take a moment to put your hand on your heart and acknowledge how beautiful that is and how that can be really hard sometimes. And it can even be discouraged sometimes. But I want to honor you and acknowledge you for the realness, for what you expressed, and for the incredible vision that you also held, even in the midst of this time that can be very challenging. I want to acknowledge your vision. I want to acknowledge your hope and your trust and your deep faith that underneath it all, that reservoir that Amanda spoke of, that we can all tap into in the season of hope. And let's imagine that as those blossoms start to come up from our garden, right, that are filled, the garden filled with nourishing food and fruits and vegetables and beautiful flowers that we can pick and bring into our home space, right? All of the nourishment that we are growing that's fertilized through all that we feel, that all that we are, all that we experience, all that compost that's just nourished our garden, and that we are sending that same energy and love all over the planet right now, and sending compassion and rest to the nervous systems of ourselves and to those who need it most, health and vitality to those who need it most, sending peace and hope and trust and a tremendous amount of gratitude to all of the medical care professionals in the world right now who are handling the overwhelm that they're experiencing in some hospitals and medical facilities. We're going to send hope and faith and trust to our political system to be able to handle this in the most conscious way possible, and actually envision and seeing them being able to do that, whether you believe it's possible or not. Remember, visionaries hold the impossible as possible. So let's hold the possibility that this incredible transformation on the planet is possible through this, through this crisis, through this challenge. And that we see each person acting in their highest possible self. We see each landlord, each banker, we see each business, we see all through the whole cycle and chain of people on this planet acting from a place of compassion, from love, from trust, and from a sense that we are in this together. And I invite you to add in any other prayers or words of intention that you'd like to right now while we're in this very powerful vortex of healing and hope and peace. Add your own words of intention, and we'll take just a moment of silence for that. Thank you, sisters. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for the energy you brought here. I can feel all of you, can sense you, we can feel you. We believe in you. We know that you are ready and you have been in training for this exact moment in time. We all are. We just have to keep reminding each other of that.
Absolutely. So, so beautiful. And shall we just close with a couple more rounds of our chant? So we're going to we'll just close with the chant that we opened with. So just close your eyes and bring your hands to your heart. Remember, it's not about the sound of your voice, it's just the energy. So please let me feel inner peace in my center of me. Please let me feel inner peace in my center of me. Please let me feel inner peace in my center of me. I'm just going to invite everyone to take one last deep inhale. And we're going to exhale with Equinox, which is divine inspiration in Gaelic. So taking a deep inhale. Thank you, beloveds. Thank you all. And these words are so beautiful, Laura, that all the messages coming up here. So Laura and I will be in touch about our next date for us all to be together, sending infinite love to everybody and support and just deep, deep peace and trust. Love. Lots of love.
Thank you, everybody. You're
Thank
so
you.
welcome. You're so welcome. You're so welcome.
Mm,
Love
thank
you.
you. Love you. Bye.
Bye.